Welcome to Grit and Gravitas with Ann and Annie, bringing you savvy, spirited stories of success. We're excited to deliver 30 minutes of inspiration, impact, and goodness. We'll be bringing you guests and friends from around the country who have very special work and personal journeys. I'm Ann Dieter Gallagher, your co host with Annie Carnathan, and this is Grit and Gravitas. Let's go. This is our very special holiday Grit and Gravitas episode, first ever, inaugural. I love to be first. Don't you love to be first?
Amen. As if you're not, the view never changes.
So we could not have two finer people in the house for our Grit and Gravitas inaugural holiday edition.
It's our first amen. Couldn't agree more.
I immediately thought of these two rock star women. Lucy Nazo, who is founder, CEO, president of Nazo Promotion Strategies. I've had the deep honor of working with you many times, Lucy. Love you to death. Sherry Collins, new with McNeese Wallace Nurek. Mm-hmm. Your reputation precedes you, former Deputy Secretary of Department of Community and Economic Development for the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Whew.
That's some powerful women there. Wow.
I know. So this is something cool. We've decided. I think we decided.
You're so
we?
cool.
Yeah.
Joe cool.
It's our little love fest
Josette
in here.
Cool, yeah.
We thought it would be really special during this crazy time of year to bring in two women who can share some insights. Number one, we're going to talk about our favorite Christmas memory. Number two, we asked them to bring their favorite Christmas recipe. There's a story behind that request too, in how they both showed up. And we will post all these online on all our social posts, so our friends and family and required listeners will benefit from our recipes here. And then a little insight, maybe one or two tips on how we, as high gear women, can stay grounded, especially during the holidays. We've got children and grandchildren and busy careers. How do we focus on being where our feet are? So I'm going to start with you, Annie, because I'm pretending I have the mic. What's a favorite Christmas memory?
My favorite Christmas memory. So I grew up. I'm the youngest of four. Two brothers, a sister, then me, and I was.
Are you the baby?
I am the baby.
Babies rock.
Oh, yay,
Yep.
babies! Okay, so I'm my mom's baby, but I'm not my dad's baby.
Okay,
so we'll say that. Yeah. So I think I was masterful at sneaking down and watching all the magic of the presents being placed, and and just how cool I thought I was, and how. Sneaky in a good way, right? Because I was a good girl for the most part. But that's it, right? And I still have that joy of just thinking of gifts, not knowing what they were. And so it's very important to me to think ideas for people. If people say, here's what I want, you got a pretty good chance of not getting that, at least from me. Mm-hmm. I'll pay that forward. But I like thinking of people, surprising people. And if they don't like it, then donate it. Someone needs it more than all of us anyway, and then I'll replace it, right? So I don't really have the fear of they won't like it, they'll return it, because it came from my heart. So
oh, well, that's sweet.
That's my favorite. Still is.
I love that.
The magic of that.
Sherry Collins, do you have a favorite Christmas memory?
I have a lot of them. Quite honestly, I love Christmas. I love gifting gifts.
Yes.
Right? The same thing. I'm not real good at receiving gifts. Right? I love to give a gift. I'm a better giver than I am a receiver.
You feel better giving than receiving. Me too.
Absolutely. But my favorite Christmas memory, and I have to laugh, and I hope I make it through without crying, because it is very memorable. So my late godfather lived in our neighborhood, and we lived in a dead-end street. We were at the dead end, and the baby of the family, I have an older brother, and pretty much the baby of the neighborhood. So my godfather would dress up as Santa Claus.
Aww.
And he would walk the streets. And he would ring the bells, and he would call out the kids' names. Now, his own daughter is very mad still to this day at him, because he didn't call her name, but he called my name. And so I heard him, and I was peeking out my bedroom window, and the last thing I heard was, Sherry Holsinger, if you don't get to bed, I am not coming tonight. And I was like, oh my God, Santa, talk to me. I got to go to bed. So I did. And I'm 54. And that memory, it still is very, very dear to me.
Aww.
So that's one of them, right? Yeah. Like we have a lot.
That's the older version of Elf on the Shelf.
Right.
I was going to say Polar Express, it reminds me of the outside.
Yeah.
I love it.
So that's always been my favorite childhood memory is my godfather dressed as Santa. I mean, not my godfather dressed as Santa, because Santa is totally real, right? So it wasn't him. It was Santa Claus.
One of Santa's helpers.
Yeah.
Might have been.
Lucy, now I know you've got a very energetic, busy household. Do you have a favorite Christmas memory?
Boy, that's tough too. First, I want to say I love you ladies, all of you, inspire all of you. This is fun. Thanks for having me. But I have so many too, and I was thinking about this. So what really sticks out? And I think one of the most special memories is as a child and a teen growing up, having our entire family, cousins and parents and aunts and uncles at Christmas Eve service together, candlelight service, walking in just one big family. There were many of us, even 5 cousins just my age, and then older brothers and cousins. But being together and just taking time to pause. And as a child, everything seems so large. But that really caused us to just, again, focus, be together as a family, feel the love, give thanks, and lighting the candles to Silent Night and Oh Holy Night. That forever brings tears to my eyes. Now raising our children and a grandchild, it just evokes all those emotions all over again. Aww. So I love that. And Santa coming through the neighborhood. I still cry. How many of you have Santa on the fire truck coming through? I love it. And to this day, we're blessed in Camp Hill that a lot of people do that for us. And, you hear the fire engine horns coming, you're, yelling, get outside, you're going to miss Santa. And all the elves, helpers, volunteers, and the music's blaring. And again, it's just a little slice of Americana. Yeah. And love it to this day. Now I get to do that again, but through our grandson Vincent's eyes.
Oh, awesome.
All right, ADG.
Well, like you guys, I am one of 4. I'm not the youngest. I have a baby sister. So, but we had a just bustling household growing up. So I, like you ladies, have a lot of Christmas memories. But so I'll share 2. One is in 7th grade, and Santa delivered our gifts in our living room down, where the chimney was. They were not wrapped, though, because in his pack, they came unwrapped. So we had, sections of the living room for each of the 4 of us. But Santa brought me a pair of Rossignol skis that were monogrammed with my name on the skis. I was all that because I hit the slopes then the day after Christmas, and I was the coolest skier.
Of course.
So that was, a gift-wise, that was just the most memorable gift. So a tradition that we have started in our family and now has gone down to the next generation is every Christmas I gathered the boys, because we had 3 sons, and now the grandchildren, and make a happy birthday Jesus cake. So we make the cake and, the icing, and then I lay out, there's shredded wheat for the hay, and there are pretzel sticks for the cradle, and there are animal crackers for the animal cookies for the camels and the sheep and the other animals. And we have sprinkle stars on the top. And then we just kind of take a minute to remember this crazy season as to why exactly we're celebrating. Mm-hmm. And so it's a good lesson for the little ones, because now the grandkids just, reach out, Mimi, when are we doing the Happy Birthday Jesus cake this year? So it's more about the memory around that and really just reflecting on, the reason for the season versus whatever type of cake you make or whatever. So
I love it.
That's
great. Love
that's a memory.
It's all the memories.
So favorite recipe, ladies, tell your story.
Well,
and we have Lucy brought her favorite cookies.
I mean,
So I'm going to have to serve the coffee after the video here. Tell us your recipe, Lucy.
Sure. So again, I'm like, which cookie? Well, there's only one that I grew up making with my nanny. And then I started to make it with my 2 grown daughters.
Wow.
And now I'm trying to get Vincent to enjoy it instead of all the chocolate. But it's a pecan tassie or a snowball,
Right.
or you call it Russian
Tea cakes,
cake,
yeah.
Mexican wedding cookie.
Yeah.
But it's so delicious.
It's an international
It's
cookie.
universal.
It's
It
a
is.
little ball of sweetness.
I like Universal. I do love Universal.
And
Yes.
I had to make sure that you enjoyed it this morning, so I got up early and here we go. Had to
does
make
that?
sure
That's
so
that
ideal.
That's
right.
love. That's right.
Lucy sets the bar for
Yeah,
everything.
that's love.
Honestly.
Absolutely.
I wanted you
Yeah.
all to enjoy some sweetness. But again, it's just one of those where if I'm cutting back the list each year, I have to make sure I make that one, or it's not Christmas in terms of
So
cookies.
special. And I know that anyone you gift that to is going to love all the care and love put into that cookie.
Sherry's waiting for hers, by the way.
I know. So out of all the recipes, Sherry, what recipe did you want to share?
Sure, this is great. So again, another great Christmas memory. Most people call their grandmother, or grandma, or
Mimi?
I called mine Mimi, right? I'm going to be Gammy when that time comes.
Oh.
But I had a nanny.
I had a
right.
nanny.
So
unbelievable.
I had a nanny, and I had 2 nannies. And one of my Nanny Bainey's favorite cookies was the same cookie that Lucy brought. So that's the recipe that I have written in her handwriting. So I brought that today because I couldn't find the other ones. But another favorite is the Toll House cookie that my grandmother Holsinger made, my nanny Holsinger. But nobody has the recipe.
That's a classic.
Nobody has it, right? And I remember as a young child going to their home and the big yellow Tupperware bowl that she used to put all of the cookies in, and she would separate them with wax paper. I now have purchased my own big Tupperware bowl. Now I just have to find that recipe so that I can replicate it. But that's a tough one because it's all very different variations. But so Lucy brought the cookies. I brought a recipe for the cookie.
Love it.
Our listeners need to help you with the Toll House recipe.
Yeah, I
Oh,
really
yeah.
I
That's
need
a, like
to
throw it
find
out
that.
into the universe kind of
Absolutely.
thing.
Yeah,
You know, to be
it
able
was
to-
different. I don't know if it was the Crisco shortening.
I bet.
think
Well,
it
that
was-
is one of the
Yes.
ingredients, although I love to only use butter, but the Crisco does make a
I
difference
think
in that.
that's what it might be. So maybe that's what we'll do this
Yes,
weekend
yes.
at home is try to replicate that.
That's fun.
Favorite cookie?
So I'm not necessarily.
I know you're not a sweets person.
Yeah, right. So it's all the how do you bake right without just pure manufactured sugar now, right?
Right.
And but really it's a chocolate cake from scratch, chocolate icing from scratch, and that probably goes back at least 3 generations.
Mhm.
But my claim to fame is pumpkin pie
Oh,
from the neck pumpkin,
Mm.
cooking
Wow.
that down, everything.
you go, girl.
Yep. And
is
when I'm
so-
really daring, even the pastry.
Oh my
And
goodness.
I was really happy when our son, who's a freshman in college, had a class, and they said, what are you most looking forward to? He said, oh, my mom's pumpkin pie.
Aw.
And he's 18 and beefy, and I think he probably ate almost 2. But more, and I'll make more, right? So I think that transcends. Obviously, it starts with Thanksgiving, but it'll go through Christmas. I'll freeze pumpkin because there's nothing like that pumpkin.
Yeah.
Versus
Yeah.
I
canned,
agree.
I wouldn't even consider that,
Yep.
or eat that. So it's a lot more work, clearly. And you have to find a good neck pumpkin, which isn't as easy as it sounds. So that is just smelling that right now. It's like, that's
So, that would have
holiday,
been an
so.
Instagram
love it.
picture. Just saying. that would have been really good. I had
Everybody-
no idea.
I know. I keep telling her I'll get better, and I have not improved at all.
I had no idea that you were a master of
I'm a master
homemade
baker.
pumpkin pie.
I mean, I tried
like
lots and lots of
seriously,
things.
how do I know you for this long? I don't even know that.
Pumpkin raisin cookies. Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
I
I've done-
love
and it's
those.
always Sunday. It's and Carnes has the best that I don't make. I'm just gonna say that right now.
I buy those too.
Yes.
pumpkin
Yes,
cookies.
they're
They're,
wonderful.
you know
Yeah.
why, Lucy? Because they're loaded with raisins.
Yes, and I
and
love
that,
that.
in that texture in the pumpkin, I'm getting some on the way home.
Yep.
I don't have any.
Yum.
Sounds like a good idea.
But I think I just enjoy. That is what settles me. That's what takes my mind to where I think it should be. And Lucy, same thing. Christmas Eve, and then we had a Christmas Eve gathering, right? Then really late into Christmas morning, and I just, the magic of that. And
I
so
agree.
it's this sparkle and shine, and it's our Lord's birth, and that's always first and foremost for me. And I just can't get out of the way of how enlightened I am by it.
I'm thinking here, there's a certain irony. The most recent Christmas memory that was hugely impactful, and I hope I get through this without tearing up, was last Christmas. Benjamin, our youngest son, gave me a piece of wood that was etched into a recipe. And it was my mother's recipe. So my husband helped him find it in her handwriting for Russian tea cakes.
Oh my goodness.
This,
Yeah.
I
And
feel left
I-
out. I got no Russian tea cake
unbelievable.
story.
I opened
We're
it up
bringing
and
you
it was
into
her
the fold
handwriting
today.
and immediately just
That's amazing.
Oh.
broke
This is
down.
amazing.
But that was the recipe.
See?
What?
I know.
So we can have our fill of
incredible.
Russian tea cakes and then throw in some pumpkin pie there for
Yes.
Chills.
I know.
I know.
So you don't use a lot of sugar. What do you use in place then for sweetener?
It could be it's Truvia for brown sugar.
Okay.
It's a Splenda blend for just like if it's a pumpkin pie. But for sloppy joes, because I do those from scratch, like Sunday's my sort of cooking baking day. Because
Is it therapy for you?
It is. And Aunt Mary comes over, and then my husband's parents sometimes that's an open door, right?
Yeah.
If you tell me, and I usually get it out before I go to mass, whatever I'm making, and if you just let me know, like, our home is big enough for anyone that wants to come over for Sunday dinner, because I take that seriously.
Yeah.
We still have dinner during the week, and it's important now that it's just my husband and I again, but I really just that's the gathering place, and I think it's so important to share a meal.
Yep.
And it's so important to connect, and to this day it's still I'm dinner every night. I cheat a little bit here and there, right, with a little help from store friends if it's the right kind of food, but I really am particular because I have to be about what I eat. And so I think we've gotten better at that, right? But it's really farm to table in as close a way as it can be. But I just can't get over how important dinner is. And, raising our son, and no matter where we were headed, and when I traveled, like, we sat down and we had dinner. And so to this day, that's still something I really covet. And I'm Italian, so it's around food. Right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I love the concept of Sunday dinner. Have the door open. Whoever wants to come. We're getting ready for a major kitchen remodel. So
Man,
when it's
Sherry,
done, you'll have to come over.
Love it.
If I make it through it,
You will.
you'll have to come
You
over.
will.
Yeah.
I promise.
Good.
It's a little frightening and
That's fun.
overwhelming.
Yeah, and you look back, like Sundays, we went to my mom's parents, and her father is pure Italian. And so it was, and to this day, meatballs rolled from scratch, anchovy balls. Like, I could go on and on and on about the food in that kitchen. So Sunday is just, that's what I grew up with, and that's what I do. So
That's
I
how
think
we are
that's
too.
great.
Yeah.
Sunday's a great day.
Oh.
I think it's a great day to hit the pause button.
Yeah.
Put the music on, which I love, and whether it's getting things prepped for the week or semi-prepped or coming together as a family,
Right.
having a meal, we're doing that this Sunday.
Right.
Another big one, and just love that, and love just kind of the peacefulness and feeling balanced and putting all the noise aside.
Yeah.
Give
I think that's
thanks.
so important. Exactly.
Count your blessings.
Give thanks.
So that's a good segue, Lucy. One of the questions I threw out to you ladies that we would like to share with our listeners and viewers is these are crazy times, these are busy times, and all of our jobs just require 120%. And we have busy families, we have spouses. Any tips you've learned, and I can't wait because I'm no master at giving these types of tips, Lucy, on how do you hit the pause button? How do you focus a little bit more, even in the month of December, to be where your feet are?
That's a tough one, too.
I know, because we're in PR, so there's no pause button.
Right. You're never totally
I
on
know.
the pause button. But really, as I've grown through the years, carving out time, and I really mean that. And of course, there are emergencies or
Right,
challenges
right.
that arise, but carving out time and putting that on your schedule as well.
That's a good idea.
Pre-planning as much as you can. So even, let's say you want to get together with your friends, create a family get together, get your team together, whatever it is, not waiting until December 1st to say, "Oh, we've got to fit this in, we've got to squeeze that in. There's just too many other things." But, just trying to do that, I very much try to find peace, to stay balanced. And that starts with my morning time. And my mornings, I'm up bright and early. I don't sleep much, but I try to rest.
When I see tweets from Lucy at 4 a.m., then I immediately grab my phone. Oh my gosh, Lucy's on already.
I'm chatting with my media
I
friends. but that morning time and how you really feed your mind and your body, your soul, with inspiration, if you're faith driven, reading, and just really chalking yourself full for the day of that fuel, so that whatever comes that day, whatever you face, and we have days which are just bright and brilliant, and we have days that are tough and challenging and just take everything out of us. But I feel like I'm just so, just ready to kind of tackle the day and not get thrown by it, and just say, okay, that's one thing that happened today. It didn't define my day. So trying to really do that. Don't get off your routine with doing that. That's another thing. Try to keep that routine every day. And then the other thing that really helps me is filling my house or my space or my office with upbeat, promotional, inspirational things that really make me feel good. It might be a great saying on a coffee mug. It might be the books all in front of me. If you come to my house, I have all kinds of positivity books and faith-based books. And
if we visit your
books.
Instagram, you're
Right.
you can't have a bad day if you follow Lucy Nash on
She's sweet,
Instagram.
and it is. That is exactly.
It oozes from her.
Absolutely.
Even the kitchen towel, flowers, whatever make you happy, what makes your soul happy, and having some quiet time. I think that really helps. And if you're having a rough time during the holidays, pick up the phone and call somebody. Call somebody who really is a good listener and somebody who can help you navigate through those waters that are tough. And, I just think, ask for help or reach out to somebody. So they're just a couple things that
Those are really good tips. And I think the challenge, I love all that and try to do several of them. And I think something I would add on to that is do that before you open the apps on your phone to check your email. And when you wake up, do that, whether it's devotionals, whether it's, reading positivity quotes. Prepare yourself, like on the airplane. You have to put the oxygen mask on first, or you're not going to be able to save anybody.
Absolutely.
Fill yourself up first, because once I start and grab the phone, I am down a rabbit hole. I'm just not getting any of my work done. I'm not filling myself with positive stuff. I'm quickly answering everybody else's problem and didn't even start my day yet.
That's a great point. And that's so important.
But it's good to just, even during the holidays, you carve out that kind of time and maybe more importantly, during the holidays.
I think everybody's feeling the pressure and being perfect or getting everything done. We're not perfect. We're not going to get everything done. Let the last cookie recipe go.
You kind of are perfect. She came with the cookies.
I had to bring the cookies. But it's tough. And shut down on social. Take a social break. It's hard to do, not for your clients though.
Anne's
but
I start twitching. Is that why she covered
No,
it?
my own sons say that too.
Yes.
Yeah, so
living in the moment, right?
I
Not
said
capturing
one of
everything.
my older brothers says, be where your feet are. Like if I'm talking to you, if you're with my family, be all in there. Don't keep checking. Don't let the mind wander. And that's just a good. As you reflect back on your life, we're not going to remember how many emails we answered and how many times we shared a post, but we're going to remember those wonderful, encouraging, inspirational conversations we had with family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Amen.
Sherry, what nuggets do you have? Because I know you have many.
Yeah, and I think similar to Lucy, it's the same concept. Like my favorite time of the day is morning, especially when nobody else is up.
Yes.
Right?
Yes,
I
yes.
love to get up, make the coffee.
Yes.
I prefer it when my husband brings it to me, if I have to be honest. But I do like
course.
to get up and grind it and make it before anybody else is up. Light a candle and just
in the still of your
quietly.
home. Yep.
Right. Now, I will say that within the last 24 hours, I have hooked up my new infrared sauna. It is a very generous Christmas gift to myself and my family because I feel that we need to be very purposeful and intentional with that time, right? And so the sauna, not only does it have a lot of great health benefits, but it also gives you a space to go into where nobody else is going to come. And I better not see anybody else try to open my sauna door while I'm in there. So yesterday afternoon, my 13-year-old was in it. This morning I got up, I had it warmed up, and at 5:30 a.m. I was in the sauna before anybody else was up. And I love it. And I know that not everybody has that. So if you don't have that opportunity, go to your closet and sit for 10 minutes a day by yourself. Get away from all the hustle and bustle. Get the phones put away. I
Right.
think that is, look, it's a great thing to have, but I think it's also one of the biggest detriments in society right now.
I agree.
I told my youngest this morning, I said, buddy, you got to take a detox from your phone. I'm sorry. And he lost his phone for 8 months and he did great with it. And he was a totally different kid during that 8 months. But as soon as you have the opportunity, even if all you're doing is watching basketball, it keeps your mind racing all the time. I love an Apple product now. I was always Android, but I love Apple because I can set my phone to shut off and come back on. It's not on before 6:30 in the morning, and it shuts off at 8:30. Now I have the ability to set certain things that if my kids call, my older children call, or Andy or Gallagher calls and says, I've got this great idea for Friday. What are you doing today?
I texted. Can you talk?
Yeah. I'm like,
Is it like 10
and
o'clock?
of course you can. You can always call me. But I think that's important. I think we need to be intentional. And I know you love that too, right? We have to be aggressively intentional with our time and what we're doing and be very purposeful.
Well, and I think as women, you have to say it's my time.
Right.
And yes, we're overly generous with it. But, you know, I said, and it really, COVID was profound because we sort of just shut down. And I was like, well, what's going to happen to this company? And people need paid. And what's going to happen to our business? And I'm running it, right? But I'm an employee. And so just mentally, and so I started to walk. You know, we had Libby Delane, and I mean, that is my religion in the morning with my 3 dogs. And to your point, I'm probably up 2+ hours till my husband gets up or my son got up, or that's my quiet time. But you know what? I would sit there at 10 o'clock at night and go, why is he texting me? Why is he emailing me? Why is she doing this? Wait a minute. I'm giving them permission to do that. Guess what? And it is all on me. And nothing makes me sadder than seeing people at a meal and they're all on their phone.
Yeah.
It absolutely
It does.
cripples me in a way because life isn't lived through a device. Life is lived like this.
Yep.
And then, you know, the gens will go, oh, that's old school. No, I don't think so. I don't think it is, right? It's a people connection. And so, you know, in the morning, I mean, I'm listening to podcasts, usually like evangelical things or our podcast, or I really like murder mysteries, and, you know, it just depends. But, yeah, I think that's 100% on me. And here's the thing, it dawned on me, like, work will always take what we give it. If I
true.
worked
Oh,
for
so true.
14 straight days, I would leave going, ooh, you can always do something. And here's if it's going to be this challenging with the days I have left before I walk with the Lord, what's the point of working this hard for this long, having the people in my, like, if I don't enjoy the blessings, like,
that's deep.
what have I really done if I can't embrace the blessings?
I agree.
And you know what? I do the best I can every single day. I know who I am. I'm intentional. You know what? If someone doesn't understand that, they're the wrong fit.
Right.
Right? They're not either who I thought they were, or I'm not who they thought I was. But this whole constant, relentless work stuff, like, really, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Like, huge step back. Yeah. But that's me.
Right.
And I'm not blaming anyone for that, right?
But I think that that's something, too, that comes with age, right? Because we realize that we do not need to work 80 hours a week, right?
No, and I
but
did
we've
the math,
all done
right?
that.
You probably had your son or your daughter around 40, right?
The youngest one, yes.
I'm just short of 40 to have our miracle son.
Yeah.
And so, wait a minute. I've been there for him. I've enjoyed that. Like, I didn't miss a single thing.
Right.
And have built a fine, second chapter. Just fine.
Yeah.
Right? We can, but it has to come from me. So why am I mad at them for doing this at 10 at night? If I answer, I'm complicit.
Right.
Right? They're messing with my headspace at a time when I just don't want to do that. And now text is sort of email, right? It's not urgent.
I didn't text her. I texted you.
But I do think there's your personal board of directors, and I think but there are other ways to get me, right? And so, I'm just not. I do not want that electronic leash. I don't deserve it. I haven't worked this hard. I want to be where my feet are because that's where I choose to be, and I don't need to do that through a phone. It cripples me with sadness when I see people do that at a meal, and this just relentless picking up.
Right.
Yeah.
And as the leader, though, of your company, you also need to set that culture for the other team
Yes.
members.
Yes.
Right?
So they don't feel they have to
That's
expect
right.
to answer the
Because
email.
there's
boundaries.
And Luce, I mean, you and I have talked about our careers in state government. I mean, you were always on.
Always
on.
call,
You were
24/7.
That's
always
how they're
on
keeping
call.
score
Yes.
in corporate
Right.
America.
Tough.
Yep, absolutely.
tough.
So to be able to kind of take a step back and just put the phone down, create those boundaries, find your peace. I can remember saying during COVID, my oldest son came in and he goes, "Mom, do you need something?" And I went, I need peace. I need peace in this house.
Right.
I need peace at work.
Yes,
I don't
yes.
need anything else. I need peace.
That home
And
thing
so
was
I
awful.
find myself, constantly trying to find that, whether it's through faith or it's through motivational posts or motivational readings, the podcast. I mean, I shared with you, I'm like a podcast junkie. Of
I
course,
know.
my favorite one is Grit and Gravitas. Why would it not be?
Have a cookie, Sherry.
today.
I know, you earned your kiss.
And I was like, I love Lucy and Anne. I've never met Annie, but I think she's my spirit animal.
She is.
Amen.
We all
And then
are.
I see
That's
her
right,
nails,
that's
and I'm
right,
like,
that's
she
right.
totally is.
We have
Yes.
built a
Yeah.
tribe
Love
here
it.
that, I mean,
and
is-
walk in the door, and I don't think Lucy and I ever formally met, and I could not wait to meet Lucy.
Yeah.
I was like, she's like a rock star to me.
She's
I mean, just like what I read, and I say to myself, thank you for filling my soul with
Right.
that. Right? She doesn't have to do that. I mean, I'm not burning anyone down. I'm not negative. It's not what's in my heart. It's tough enough, but just that she takes the time to do that is like that's who she is.
Lucy's a love.
it's
She's a love.
exactly.
It's
You're gonna
just-
make
exactly.
me cry.
Oh,
Don't do
yeah.
that,
And,
'cause
and,
then I'll
and honestly,
start.
the way you lifted Nancy Ryan up,
Yeah.
Love Nancy.
absolutely.
Another one of our sisters.
Well,
Yes.
exactly right,
Absolutely.
and a
She's been a
two-timer on
two-time
Grit and
guest.
Gravitas.
Yes.
And look, you can't manufacture that.
Right.
That's authentic. And when you align with that, that's the best parts of it. And what I appreciate, because we all need to see, hear, and read more of that and reward each of us for that.
Right.
Right? Because we're not really in a society that does that.
Yep. Absolutely.
We're out of time, girl.
I know. I have to give one more.
Okay.
Because it's kind of our show,
Oh, yes.
our podcast.
Most definitely.
Yes. So I think I affirm and confirm everything you all just said. And the challenge for me is doing this. I know these things. Being where my feet are is a challenge, but I do work on that, especially with the little ones too. I mean, I can't be a good role model and walk around with my phone with the grandchildren,
It says
Yeah.
to them your phone's more important than
Except
they are.
for when they're at
somebody takes
best,
a call and
then
you
I
say
do.
they're more
Yeah.
important than I am. And with their landline phone, somebody took a call. Well, I'm in an appointment with you. You just said that's more important
Right, exactly.
than me, right?
I think something that really grounds me, and I know it grounds the three of you, is giving back. And I shout out Salvation Army when I say that. Although it's time consuming to give back, there is no greater ROI. And it reminds me like, oh, wow, that this work issue, this challenge isn't really the pressing challenge that I thought it was in light of understanding what this person is. This is the first year I did adopt a senior at Salvation Army.
I love that.
And I aggressively, I thought I'm going to take 5 seniors. Until I read through all that we have to do for the adopted seniors, I'm like, oh, shoot. So Corey was at deer camp and I'm going, but these are applications and they're important pieces of information are on each of these seniors' application. And I get the opportunity to call them and say, I'm super excited to tell you I'm your, senior sponsor. And so I finished all their gifts and they get a gift card for their meal at the grocery store of their choice. But I called the one lady who's adorable. She's 77. And I said, can I just ask you, I said, do you love candy? Because, Macros chocolates and one of my best friends, Linda, works there. She said, oh, honey, I love candy. She said, but I don't really need candy. She said, I just try to do the sugar-free candy. So I called my good friend. I said, bring home a box of hand-picked sugar-free Macros chocolates, sealed. And for this lady was so sweet. And she just is, many of these seniors live, in apartments in Harrisburg and don't really have anyone, stopping by. But
they're isolated.
But just kind of like that warms my soul. And it's, it is time. But that's kind of grounds me to just remember, that it's not the amount of gifts that we're giving and I don't know, the biggest, most expensive gift, but it's more what will the people in your lives remember and what will these people be touched by.
And I love that. That is so you. I mean, you are filled with gratitude and
I love
giving
shopping
back.
for all
And
these
I
older
know
men.
it, but I love
I
that.
had one man. There was one older man I got. So.
But I do, and I just think that too. Just taking
well,
time.
and we ring the bells together.
Oh, and I can't wait. Yes. Like that was something. I'm so happy we pre-planned that, carved that out. I love doing that.
Well, Sherry rings the bells too.
That's fun. But giving back and finding a way to give back, whether it's within your family and the community or, through helping those special people, that just letting them know you care, because I think holidays are tough for so many people. Either they're alone or if they've gone through heartache or heartbreak or death or divorce, just
no one remembers them.
And I think it's, just remembering those individuals. So it could be a phone call, it could be a gift, it could be buy a gift to give and buy a gift to give within your family, buy one, save one, whatever. But I just think that gift of time and love and giving back.
Well, and this is a Salvation Army tribe too. We've got Annie with Universal Media, which started our last year off as the premier sponsor for our Micah Parsons event and our Be the Light
I love that
event. Sherry is new board member. Lucy is longtime co-bell ringer, so I kind of just got you all.
Don't forget Shoe Strut, girl. We're
Shoe Strut too.
That's members first. Let's just give that a shout out. But I think Sherry said it. She feels better giving than receiving, and I have no joy remotely comparable to giving versus receiving.
Right.
And the myriad of opportunities over the years to be on a board or to do this or to do that. I write checks, right? But I write checks because I work so hard. And that is critical as well. And around this time of year, it's, and the better the year I have, the bigger the checks I write. And that's, meaningful. And it is about time and where the time is intentional for me as well. Because I've earned it at this point.
Right.
And I don't want to be on the relentless wheel. There's always going to be enormous challenges, but they're all going to be there. After I'm okay. And when I give, I mean, the euphoria in that I'm very awkward receiving.
Yeah.
So
am I. And I think it's
I'm
just
not good at it.
It's a good reminder that there is always somebody in need, whether it's in need of money, in need of food, but a lot of times it's just in need of an ear. Somebody to listen, right?
Yes.
It doesn't matter because everybody's stories are different. we can sit here. They're all very similar. I mean, obviously, Lucy
We have
brings
3
the
tea cake
cookie,
stories,
right?
yeah.
3 tea cake stories, 2 Aunt Mary stories, nannies. I mean, if you think about it, we are all interconnected. So it's incumbent upon us to do for other people. It fills your cup. Right?
Well, I say to my
Yeah.
son
Yeah.
growing up, honey, we wake up and we don't want or need anything.
Right.
And whether that was it, and here's why, and this is what, and he's seen that demonstrated. And when I look out, was it the chicken or the egg, right? He has almost never asked for a single thing. It's not, he went to work when he could work. And so the blessing in that, and that's what's in his heart, because at this point now he's 18 and he's baked and out of the oven. And he has been for a considerably long time, but that joy and the ability to have him know he doesn't wake up and want or need for anything, but there are a lot of people who do.
Yeah.
And that's now how we're paying it forward in every way, shape, and form.
So I know we have to end this fabulous session. Shout out to Walker Carnathan for achieving his Eagle rank.
Oh, that's
Congratulations,
great.
that's huge.
That's
Yeah.
fantastic.
God bless
Right
That
before
is.
his
Should be so
18th
proud.
birthday.
Following
Oh,
in the
wow.
Gallagher
That's great.
footsteps.
That's
Yeah, it's
great.
an enormous commitment.
Lifelong
It's-
achievement.
Yes, and it will follow him for life. And I remember saying to him, honey, of all the things you do and you astound me, I really want to do that. I really want you, and he did it. And
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
it really is.
Congratulations.
It's a really a lifelong accomplishment. So thank you.
It
Very,
is.
very proud of
Yeah.
him.
That's
So
fantastic.
Merry Christmas to your family, Lucy. Merry Christmas, Sherry, your family.
Yeah.
Annie, we are blessed to sit around
Amen.
this
We
table
are
to
blessed.
share some insights that we really hope our listeners can learn from, especially the younger women, our desires to shorten their learning curve. And not
100%.
only in business, but as moms in life. But what a blessing you all are. So there, Grit and Gravitas, our first Christmas podcast episode. Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
you.
Merry
Thanks.
Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas.
Sending love and light.
Thanks for listening. It's our desire that these stories will bring energy, ideas, and fresh thinking that you can use today. Subscribe to our podcast and follow us on Instagram, and have a high gear day.